Welcome to the deep dive. You said the fascinating tactics of neuroscience, psychology, and all the critique, and we'll really give you the shortcut to understanding what they all mean together. Our focus today is on one of the humanity's, oldest minds, logic versus emotion. We're sort of trying to think of these as completely opposed, right? Like an internal tug of war. We picture the hyper-rational Apollo fighting the ecstatic Dionysus, or if you're a sci-fi fan, it's Mr. Spock versus Dr. McCoy.
The cold calculations versus the messy humanity.
Exactly. But our mission in this deep dive is to show that this whole contrast, this idea of the head and the heart operating separately, is largely a false dichotomy. We're not connected to science as they are, in fact, inextricably linked.
Right. That old framing of emotion is just a noisy, disruptive cousin of reason. It just doesn't hold up. Not in a modern scientific scrutiny. The contemporary consensus across neuroscience and psychology is crystal clear. Logic and emotion are opposing forces. They're completely integrated processes. You can even say emotion is the engine that powers and directs and regulates cognition itself.
Okay, let's unpack that then. And let's start with some numbers that are, pretty startling. They really challenge how we see ourselves. Most of us, especially if you consider yourself well-informed, we believe we make decisions with careful step-by-step logic. Yet research consistently shows that emotions account for a staggering, 90 to 95% of our decision-making process.
And this isn't just, deciding what you want for breakfast. This finding comes out of Nobel Prize-winning research, specifically Daniel Kahneman's work on behavioral economics.
Right.
When he said his financial decisions, the exact kind of choice for you to think pure rationality reigns supreme.
Absolutely.
He concluded that even sophisticated, financially literate people base 90% of those choices on emotion. Only 10% is pure objective logic.
Wow. So that's just a fundamental blow to the idea of homo economicus, the perfectly rational agent.
A huge blow.
So if we're only 5 to 10% rational, what on earth is the rest of our thinking process doing?
Well, the psychological consensus is that human thought is generally not explicitly rational. It is, by definition, overwhelmingly non-rational.
Non-rational. What does that mean exactly? It sounds like illogical.
It's a great question, and no, it doesn't mean illogical or wrong. It just means that it's largely unconscious, automatic, and deeply emotional, and it relies very heavily on heuristics.
Heuristics. Those are the mental shortcuts.
Yeah.
Right. Our brain's way of avoiding having to calculate everything from scratch every single time.
Precisely. They're efficient, but they can be prone to error. Now, if we accept this, then our default operating mode is emotional and heuristic. It raises a really important question.
Which is,
If we aren't explicitly rational most of the time, how do we ever manage to make good choices or, stop ourselves from making really bad ones? The core tension is that we've all been there. Acting purely on impulse road rage or hitting purchase on something we absolutely can't afford and then immediately regretting it. That feels like emotion completely derailing reason.
it doesn't feel that way. But that's where the genius of this interconnected system really comes in. Just because the process is non-rational doesn't mean the conclusion is indefensible. Actually, a major function of our effective or emotional reaction is to provide this necessary immediate feedback loop.
Feedback loop.
Yeah, emotion's often what motivates corrective action when we encounter something illogical, or when we make a self-defeating choice. That sudden flood of shame after an impulsive purchase, that's your system flagging an error and preparing you to do better next time.
So, instead of seeing emotion as the thing that pushes us off the road, we should see it as a navigation system itself.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so let's look at how emotion directs action, not just derails it. With a really fascinating sources here is the concept of anticipated affect. Oh, this is one of the most powerful insights in motivational psychology. Our decision to act isn't really motivated by the cold, hard facts of an outcome. It's motivated by the anticipated emotion that outcome will generate.
So how we think we're going to feel.
Exactly. Before we choose, we engage in these little mental simulations. We predict how option A will make us feel versus how option B will make us feel. The decision the brain goes with is the path that it thinks will maximize the positive anticipated affect or, minimize the negative.
That makes so much sense. So choosing a career is maybe less about the salary figures on a spreadsheet and more about anticipating how we'll feel showing up every Monday for the next 20 20 years.
Absolutely. The decision is driven by that internal simulation. If you anticipate that the high-paying job will bring crushing stress and a sense of dissatisfaction, that's negative effect, you might well choose the lower-paying job that promises fulfillment. Even if the purely rational financial data argues otherwise, behavior chases the emotional payoff.
And it gets even more nuanced than that. Our current emotional state, our mood right now, it also completely regulates how we approach a problem in the first place.
It dictates the cognitive strategy we deploy. Think about it. Research shows that if you are in a happy, positive mood state, you're encouraged to adopt a more global or big picture focus.
Seeing the forest, not the trees.
Exactly. Conversely, if you're in a negative state, like sadness or frustration, you're motivated to focus on details, on analysis, on deep scrutiny.
So if I'm happy, I might trust my gut on a big investment, but if I'm having a rough day, I'm going to triple check all the fine print.
You are. A positive, effective reaction encourages us to rely on our existing beliefs, to trust the system we have. But a negative reaction, that acts as an immediate flag. It motivates us to inhibit those beliefs, to slow down, and to search for new information to correct what we perceive as an error. That link is just critical.
It's such a powerful framework. And the synthesis, it didn't just emerge out of nowhere, right? We can trace this thinking, this emotion cognition loop back through the 20th century.
Oh, yes. You can think of influential figures like Sylvan Tompkins, who developed affect theory. He argued that the emotional system is the primary motivating force in human life. Period. And you have Richard Lazarus, whose appraisal theory is specifically linked to emotion and cognition.
What was his main idea?
He shows that it's our thought, our cognitive appraisal of an event, that actually generates the specific emotion. And we can't forget Jose Simon, the cognitive scientist. He saw that emotion was necessary for efficiency, even incorporating its role into early AI concepts. He knew a truly intelligent system needed a way to flag priorities and interrupt routine tasks.
But if we connect this to
To
the
the bigger picture, I believe foundational work that set the stage for all of this. It wasn't even in the 20th century.
Correct. The modern scientific study of emotion really goes back much further, all the way back to 1872 with Charles Darwin's seminal book, The Expression of the Emotions in Man and Animals.
So when Darwin wrote this, what was the revolutionary idea he introduced that sort of laid the groundwork for modern effective science?
He fundamentally reframed emotion. So for Darwin, emotional expression was often seen as incidental, almost random. Everyone argued that expressions, a scowl, a smile, a look of fear, they have distinct evolutionary origins. They serve crucial adaptive and communicative functions. He spent years documenting them, concluding they were universal across human cultures, and often had homologous forms in other animals. He saw this as evidence that emotional expression itself was shaped by natural selection for survival.
And his work also touched on something else that's critical now.
Yes, it inadvertently foreshadowed the distinction between subjective emotional feelings, the conscious internal experience, and objective emotional reactions. Those reactions are the physiological and behavioral processes, the change in heart rate, the shift in facial muscles, things that can and often do happen unconsciously.
And the distinction between the conscious feeling and the objective unconscious reaction, that's vital. That measurable reaction is what allows us to get to the 21st century's cutting-edge applications, specifically computing.
Absolutely. This entire branch of AI, which really originated with Rosalind's proposal in March 1995, it relies on that very assumption that objective emotional reactions can be sensed and interpreted and processed. Effective computing is all about designing systems that can recognize and basically model human emotions.
Giving machines the ability to read us.
Essentially, yes.
How do these systems even work? How do they detect something as abstract as, say, frustration?
They rely on passive sensors to capture physical states or behaviors, the exact same nonverbal cues humans use to perceive emotion in each other. So this includes advanced emotional speech processing, analyzing pitch, tempo, volume, and detecting microexpressions. So subtle facial movements or even changes in body posture.
That brings us back to appraisal theory. Because if you use a raw feeling to the pleasure and the prospect of an undesirable outcome, that connection is key for you, the listener, because it shows how our cognition doesn't just respond to emotion, it actually creates it.
Precisely. The cognitive interpretation, the appraisal is everything. And this is a principle that, powerful actors, politicians, advertisers, rulers, they've always understood this and leveraged it. They use rhetoric and framing to constrain the meaning of an effective reaction and, crucially, to magnify its intensity.
Can you give us an example?
Sure, think about the aftermath of 9/11. George W. Bush framed the struggle against terrorism not just as a defensive effort, but as, and I'm quoting here, a war between good and evil. A war to save the world.
Right, very stark terms.
By framing it as this cosmic battle for survival, the basic emotion of fear gets amplified into something righteous and motivating. It channels the public's effective reaction towards specific, government-sanctioned actions.
And that takes us right into the cultural sphere, which has always been obsessed with this idea of emotional control. Film, in particular, seems to have become the main modern vehicle for our myth-making, often exploring identity through these themes of control and resistance.
Dystopian narratives are just perfect for this. They explore what happens when an ideology tries to completely override our non-rational emotional core. Look at the remake of Orwell's 1984. The required worship of Big Brother is the ultimate act of cognitive control. Exactly, and the rules are imposed specifically to try to produce faith, which versus the natural process. It's a critique of totalitarian systems that aspire to become secular theocracy, controlling internal belief.
And those same stories, they always emphasize controlling the tools of thought itself. In 1984, you see it in The Handmaid's Tale too, there's a
real restriction on language and information. The storytellers are showing us that if you limit the vocabulary, the concepts you can even express, you inevitably set the limits of what people can think and feel. You're controlling their appraisal mechanism itself.
And then the science fiction genre uses artificial lips, robots, androids as foils to explore what human emotion even is. On one hand, you get robots achieving a kind of godlike status, superhuman strength, knowledge.
And directors often use visual cues of that, don't they?
They do. They use techniques borrowed directly from religious art to enhance that feeling. Things like human skin or halo effects, like the golden-skinned robot in Metropolis. They're detached, perfect logic personified.
And that aesthetic purity, it often feels sterile or even terrifying, precisely because it lacks that messiness of emotion.
Exactly, and then you get the inverse, which is often more compelling. Films like Blade Runner or Artificial Intelligence, AI. In those, the artificial life forms struggle desperately to embody uniquely human qualities. Love, compassion, the pain of loss. Their entire quest is about attaining that human affective core.
In most humanity in these stories, we also see the fear of becoming less human, right? The resistance to becoming machine-like, which speaks to our fears of social conformity.
Oh, absolutely. We see the deep-seated fear in narratives of forced assimilation. You have the totalitarian collective of the Borg in Star Trek and First Contact, who strip away all individuality, or the civilian conformity fears in the Stepford Wives. These stories constantly underscore the cultural value of placing on the unpredictable, messy, non-rational, and ultimately adaptive nature of human emotion. And our freedom.
So, after all this, what does it all mean? We started by
questioning the supposed war between the head and the heart. The journey from Darwin's early studies on expression, through the cognitive revolution, and now into the world of neuroscience and AI. It all tells us
that emotions aren't the opposite of logic. They're not a flaw in the system.
Not at all. They're the very engine of decision-making. They provide the motivational force to regulate how we process information, and they're a critical component of consciousness, survival, and adaptation. And the implication for you as a listener is, well, is profound. Since emotion and logic are inseparable, the truly good decision-makers are never the ones who just suppress their feelings. They are the ones who are both emotionally and intellectually intelligent, who are attuned to those effective reactions.
So listening to your gut isn't unscientific.
It's the most scientific thing you can do.
Yeah.
You have to realize that feelings aren't noise. Feelings are incredibly fast, high-resolution data about the situation you're in. They foreshadow productive or unproductive plans of action.
That leaves us with a provocative
final thought then. One that draws on both the science of effective computing and those cinematic themes of control we just discussed.
Go on.
We know that technology is rapidly gaining the ability
to recognize